Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It is Friday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA. It's 20 Zulu on June 3rd, 2022. It's time for the weekend special. And it's been a short week here in the US because we had a holiday on Monday, but that's okay. It's time to think about contests. And boy, you know, when you think about almost 20 contests come from the American Radio Relay League, our ARRL. And so we want to welcome Bart, W9JJ, who sits at the desk that does radio sporting at ARRL headquarters. Hi, Bart.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for inviting me to join you. It's
now,
exciting
great
weekend coming up.
Yeah, this is a very exciting weekend because this is the inaugural, the first event for the new ARRL Digital contest. So I'm going to let you start talking about it, and I'm going to share my screen and show how easy. Oh, look, we've got another member of headquarters. It's Paul.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Paul. Bart, why don't you introduce Paul?
So, folks, we've got joining us Paul Bourque, N1 SFE. He's our contest program manager here at ARRL headquarters, and with this brand new event kicking off this weekend, we wanted to invite Paul to be a part of our activity as well and to talk about the event. So to begin with, I'm going to actually let Paul chat for 1 second here and tell us a little bit about what's coming up this weekend, and then we can go back and forth into the details ever so slightly.
Okay, thanks, Bart. So yeah, the ARRL International Digital Contest is this weekend, and that is a contest on all digital modes with the exception of RIDI. So the digital contest was designed to take the place of participants who choose not to use RIDI, because next year's RIDI Roundup is going to be RIDI only. So we wanted to have a contest where the non-RIDI FT4, FT8, etc. digital modes can participate who weren't using RIDI. So RIDI Roundup will be RIDI only in the January running of the event. So that's kind of where the birth of the digital contest came from.
Thanks, Paul. So again, the new event kicking off this weekend introduces yet another weekend event for amateur radio, which is exciting in and of itself. You know, we've had a busy spring of contests, ARRL contests, CQ contests, NAQPs, sprints, and others. We've got the chance now to jump back in with an HF +6 and with emphasis on 6 meters. I'm excited about the fact that this is an opportunity, especially for newcomers who have been taking advantage of the digital modes, particularly FT modes, that they're already active on the VHF bands. And here's an opportunity for them now to do it in a competitive way outside of the VHF contests. As most people know, we've got this digital contest this weekend. Next weekend then will be the June VHF contest. And then we got Field Day coming up in a couple of weekends as well. So it's going to be a jam-packed June. Tim is smiling. He can see that his station and his electric bill are just going to be continuing to spin there.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. There is, as both of you guys know, the magic of amateur radio is alive and well. And certainly these operating events that are sponsored by the ARRL are really, really good because, you know, if anybody wants to know, does my station work? Does my new antenna work? How about the new radio that I got? Does it work? Can I get it set up on the digital modes? Can I get on FT4? Can I learn about FT8? This is a great weekend to do that. And by having it so that it goes 160 through 6, that's very special as well. So this, you know, it starts at 18 Zulu tomorrow and goes all the way till 23:59 Zulu on Sunday. So that's 30 hours. Paul, can you talk about single operators and how much time they can operate and talk about the breaks?
Okay, so The people who are familiar with Ready Roundup will remember the 2-break rule. A lot of people have a lot of anxiety over that and are understanding how it works. But so single operator entrants there's 2 different single operator entry categories based on time. A standard single operator entry is 24 hours out of the entire contest, and that includes 2 breaks. You can take up to 2 breaks that are a minimum of 60 minutes long. So it counts the 2 breaks that are at least 60 minutes long, counts 2 of those as a break. Any other break in operating time other than that is not considered a break. So in other words, if you were to take 2 hour-long breaks and start operating again, if you took another break after that, it actually counts as time if you were actually then operating. So you need to use those breaks strategically. So it's really about, you need to look at what the propagation's doing, where you're located, who you want to work. Anyway, so that is a standard single operator 24-hour time frame. There's also an 8-hour mode. It works the same way, but you only have 8 hours operating time. This allows single operator participants who don't necessarily have the time or some reason there's a time constraint, family, whatever, they can still choose to participate, but only compete with those other entrants that are also limited in their amount of time they can participate in the contest.
Yeah, and that's a unique thing, 8 hours and 24 hours. And that really speaks to the versatility of designing a new contest where you can put in categories like that that really do make a lot of sense. Bart, can you talk about the club competition and the team competition? And hopefully that's up on the screen there, Bart.
I'm not sure if it's on the screen. I'm not seeing it myself, Tim, but that's okay as long as there we go. So as we look at the rule set, this is right off the webpage. You can see the URL that Tim has brought up in the upper left-hand corner. So to begin, one of the things we felt strongly about is that the ARRL contest program has always enjoyed a club competition focus for nearly all of our contests. Clubs still are at the root of how much of amateur radio began. Not everybody had stations in the earliest days, and clubs were formed. And having this social group well before the internet, again, was a focal group for amateur radio operators to come together, share ideas, etc. Carrying that idea forward, we have a club competition now in, I believe it's 10 events, where you can contribute your score as a part of your affiliated club's aggregate score toward a competition in limited, medium, and local categories. So many of you are probably aware of that. We even have a gavel as an award for the top winning club in each of those 3 categories for each of these contests. And this event is no different. So club competition, talk to your local club, find out if they're going to be active in the event. Some people are members of more than one club. So again, strategically determine if you're going to contribute or your score at all to which club you're going to be competing with. Keep in mind that you have to be operating from and part of their eligibility territory. So you have to be a club member on their eligibility list, and you have to be operating from their territory. Carrying the principle forward, we've added to this particular event, and the only other event we have this in is in the 220 megahertz and above contest, is a team competition where groups of fellow participants, similar-minded, from 2 to 5 single operator stations who are all located in the same 175-mile radius circle, can combine their score to produce a team score, and then we will recognize them in the results under a team competition category. In checking with Paul earlier today, there's approximately 14 teams who have signed up. There is a link for the team competition. I can get that to you as we scroll down further into the rules. Tim, it's really at the last page. There you go. Just went past it. Right in there, in the middle of the page, contest at ARRL, teamreg.php, !EID equals 31. Again, obviously a whole bunch of fancy coding for this event and its team competition registration. Registration is open until the event begins. So get your registrations together, get them submitted before 1800 tomorrow. So again, things to bring groups of amateurs together. Don't consider this as simply a single operator event. What you're doing can be part of a larger effort and exciting from that standpoint.
You know, and it's really cool that you can have you can be a member of a team up to 5 guys or 5 operators, 5 stations, and you can also be a part of the club competition. So it's inclusive in that. And so, Paul, you want to talk a little bit about log submission for this as well?
Okay, so yeah, the log submission for this event is entirely we're only accepting digital Cabrillo formatted logs, so there are no paper logging entries allowed for this. This is entirely electronic log submissions, and there's a log upload page, and you can see down there under log submission there at contestlog-submission.arrl.org, contest-log-submission.arrl.org, and you can see there it says no paper logs will be accepted. So you have 7 days to get your login, and the beauty of this is, you know, most participants are going to be using a computer to make the contacts. It's a digital contest, and most of the software just generates a Cabrillo log format for you. So you really submitting a log is actually pretty straightforward and simple.
It is, and if you've had any experience with any of the major contests, certainly that is the sending in the Cabrillo file, and if they have questions, after the contest is over, so next week, and I mean it's a 7-day log submission deal, Paul. What's the best email address for people to contact you?
The best one would be contests with an S, contests plural, .arrl@arrl.org.
Okay.
That goes to a contest shared mailbox folder, which myself, Bart, and other staff members have access to. So even if I don't happen to be personally available, someone will be there to answer the question. And usually you get a reply back from myself or Bart.
Well, that's very good, and certainly, all of this information, the PDF, all this is on the ARRL.org website. Very easy to get to. If you just hopefully, Paul, you're seeing the main page, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so very easy from the main page, and you don't have to be a member of ARRL to go to this page and get the information. You click on the air. Click on contests, and then I like to go, because there's a lot of contests, but I check out the 19 annual contests sponsored by the ARRL, and this weekend coming up, International Digital Contest. And here you go, and of course the PDF is right here as well. So real easy to get the information. And talk a little bit, Bart, about some of the enthusiasm for technician class operators for this event.
Absolutely. And by the way, I just wanted to catch a couple of quick things, although we may touch on the greater detail too. Paul was mentioning electronic logs only. One of the reasons that the 2 events we have right now that are electronic logs only, which is 222 megahertz and up distance scoring contest, and the new ARRL Digital contest, is that we're using distance calculations. So we're going to be calculating against the grid square you used as your exchange and the grid square you copied from the station you worked. And to be able to do that with a non-digital log just sort of goes backwards and against the grain. So that's one of the strong reasons why we're looking at digital logging and receiving only digital logs. we may touch on this again, Tim, but one of the things I wanted to emphasize is as we look at the newcomer approach, and you were commenting on that, we are also reminded that a lot of the newcomers, the technicians, they're limited to a couple of bands for digital modes, 10 meters and 6 meters. They may have beginner class stations, to which of part we were looking at those separate specialty categories to recognize the challenges they may face. Are they a newcomer and therefore they have a portable station? They're limited to a short period of time. So we've got our 8-hour maximum operating time category. All enclosed antennas. Some of these newcomers may be limited to antennas that are inside of a building, maybe in the attic. Perhaps they are stealth antennas. And then, of course, a combined category of enclosed antennas and limited time. But the other thing also is these stations may not necessarily be in a position to generate a lot of power. Or they might be limited in power because they realize that their environment generates some sort of interference to neighbors, etc. So this event is actually limited to a maximum of 100 watts output. Carrying that idea forward a little bit, the low power category in all HF ARRL contests is now specified as 100 watts maximum. And the same principle is carried out through here and also to field day, which presumably we will chat with you all as we get a little closer to it here in the next couple of weeks. But again, especially on digital modes, weak signals you can't even hear often because they're below your ear and noise threshold are propagating well, are being decoded. 100 watts is more than enough to get the job done. And what does that do? It allows the QSOs to still happen. It keeps co-channel interference down. You're not overloading receivers. Your spurious emissions, if you have any, aren't that great. People are still learning how to use the settings in programs like WSJTX and realizing it's not the audio gain that you need to turn up or down. It's the RF output that you adjust. So again, you're not splattering. So there's a bunch of variables that newcomers, beginners, the new technicians, those who've actually been spending time on 6 meters anyway, are going to continue to carry those ideas forward now into an international contest and its debut here with ARRL.
Yeah, no, those are all great points, Bart. And I really applaud you and the Contest Advisory Committee and everybody at headquarters for taking a stand on that 100-watt limit. I think that is going to provide a lot of opportunity for many more people to have fun. I do want to recognize in the chat room, Kilo Papa 4 Quebec, Victor Quebec is in there. Also, Kilo Lima 0 Sierra. And Dino says it's a great idea to separate RTTY from the other modes so folks can concentrate on one or the other. And then from Brazil, it's Papa Uniform 2, Mike. Our friend Dave down in Franklin County, KC3 Fox Uniform November. And Steve, Kilo Bravo 2, Victor Kilo Zulu says 6 meters is active now. And my friend Jeff Tobin, who I got to see at Hamvention, haven't seen him in probably 40 years, got to see Jeff. And then Brian, W7 Juliet Echo Tango, who is a pilot for Alaska Airlines. So if you fly Alaska, you might run into Brian. He's looking forward to the new contest. And let's see, already lost my voice. Kilo Victor 4 Oscar Papa. Well, the great thing is this weekend, you don't need your voice. So even if you lost your voice, you can still get on the digital modes, and we hope you feel better, Ricardo. And WD8 November, Victor November is on his way to the DARA meeting. And the question for you, Paul, will FT8 Fox and Hound be permitted in the new contest, Paul?
Well, that's a good question, Bob. I appreciate that he brought that up. And no, the Fox and Hound or de-expedition mode will not be allowed. So we're looking at singles. We're calling it single stream QSOs. Anyway, we want to have one QSO going on at a time from your station. I know Fox and Hound will allow multiple data streams at the same time, and that is specifically not allowed.
Okay, thank you, Paul. And John, Kilo 6 Radio X-Ray Delta. Why is RTTY excluded? Is that because there are already RTTY contests on at the same time? Bart, you want to kind of give a brief, you did talk a little bit about that, but go ahead and answer that question for John.
Absolutely. And John, that's a great question. And it's one that has been debated significantly over the last couple of years as we've looked forward in developing a digital contest. Keeping RTTY in this contest would simply then make it a parallel to RTTY Roundup, which has been historically since its beginnings in the mid 80s, an everything digital mode event. As that has evolved, various digital modes have come and gone. FT8 has been coming into its own over the last 15 plus years, or if you will, at least since 2018. I shouldn't really say FT8, but more the JT modes. And the community that felt strongly about developing the digital-only contest also saw it as an opportunity to look at the RTTY Roundup, recognize that it too was all digital modes, and conclude that making RTTY Roundup purely RTTY, going to the root of its name, and then creating a digital contest that's everything but RTTY would accomplish both goals and not create overlap.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And the same is true in the CQ house. The worldwide Digi contest is everything but RTTY, and then there is RTTY contest under CQ as well. So let's see, we've got WA4 Mike Oscar Mike is on with us from Kentucky. Says hello to Bart and Paul and Tim. And Dawn, Kilo Delta 8 Papa Alpha X-Ray, says, good to see you at Hamvention, and you made some money off me. Well, hey, Dawn, I hope you're having fun with your new toys. And John, thanks for the clarification. So, we're looking forward to great propagation this weekend, Paul, Bart, and thank you for all you do at headquarters. You're getting it from all sides. And as Bart pointed out, this is a busy month contest-wise for you guys with the VHF contests, with Field Day, which is not a contest, but we keep score. So it sort of is a contest, but it is a big-time operating event. And Paul, you got to be excited about all the logs that are going to be coming in.
I tell you, Field Day is there's a lot of participation, of course, in the last couple of years with everything, with the rules waivers and rules changes. Everything's so in flux. It's really keeping me on my toes, especially with the aggregate club scoring. And that's an entirely new, relatively new thing for Field Day, and that's a lot of people are very excited about it. And I get the majority of my questions about Field Day are involving the aggregate score.
Well, this is going to be a fun year for that event as well. But the first time for the International Digital Contest, hosted and organized by the ARRL. Very excited about that this weekend. And Bart and Paul will have you on again later this month to talk about Field Day. I've got a special guest next Friday, I hope, that's going to talk about the VHF contest and get everybody all jazzed up for that as well. Bart, anything that we forgot here to talk about today?
I don't believe so, Tim. Anything more than this, people are invited to drop Paul or I an email, contests@arrl.org. Ask your questions or send your emails directly to us. Our call signs at arrl.org. We're here for you. We'll help out best we can. We're excited about the event coming up tomorrow, and wishing everybody a successful, enjoyable, and a good propagation event.
Yes, and send the soapbox in. I mean, that's one of the first things I look at is the soapbox comments from the various stations that participate. So Again, Paul, Bart, thanks very much for coming on today. And I hope to hear all of you on this weekend in the ARRL International Digital Contest. And good luck to everybody. And we'll see you next Tuesday for Tuesdays with Tim and Jeff. Until then, good luck in 73 from DX Engineering.
Thank you, Tim. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you. 73.